Okay, what we're going to look at here is how we could tell how many sigma and pi bonds are present in a given Lewis structure, or structure in general. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just actually going to make up a structure, and I'm actually going to intentionally leave the bonds out, because this is a worst case scenario, something you might have to do. All right, so the very first thing we're going to do is actually turn this into something with more bonds in it. So I'm going to start by putting the two H's off that carbon, and I know it must be connected to this other carbon with a single H, and that must be connected to this carbon with three H's. All right, and I know that carbons like to have 4 bonds, so there must be a double bond between these first two. And as we practice, we'll get a lot quicker about doing that. But what we just did was we made a very quick calculate structure, or a Lewis structure without lone pairs. But it does show us everything we need to do. So if I want to get my sigma bonds, I'm going to count all of my single bonds as a sigma bond. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then one of the bonds that make up that double bond is a sigma bond. So this particular structure has 8 sigma bonds, and the other one is a pi. All right, and just to make that a little bit more challenging, make sure I can make another page here. Let's go with something slightly more difficult. All right, and we're going to do essentially the same thing. I'm just going to put this H off to the end, carbon. This carbon's bonded to carbon with 2 hydrogens, and this, that COOH, we just need to remember is OOH. It's carboxylic acid. It's also sometimes written as CO2H, but you'll know it's the oxygens both come off the carbon, and then the other hydrogen is off one of those 2 oxygens. All right, and then we're doing the same type of thing where we did before. I'm going to have to come back here and put a triple bond between these 2 carbons to get each of those carbons at 4 bonds. All right, but we now have a calculate structure there. Now, this one is definitely different than Lewis structure. Lewis structure would have lone pairs on the oxygen. I don't need that to figure out how many sigma and pi bonds they are. All right, to figure out how many sigma bonds, we're going to count each bond. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's 9 bonds, so there's 9 sigma bonds. And the pi bonds are the other lines on any multiple bond. So there's 1, 2, 3 pi bonds in this structure altogether.